Lotus is going mainstream. This English brand used to make small sports cars like the Elise, but it's developing a next generation performance saloon to take on the BMW M5 and AMG E63S. I'm going to show you exclusive renderings of what this new car could look like, and I'll tell you why you need to be excited for this all new Lotus. Anyway, I'm Matt Watson and you're watching CarWow. Buy, sell,
CarWow.
Lotus has been around for 75 years. It spent most of that time making small, lightweight sports cars like the 7, the Elise and the Esprit. This sort of car isn't as popular as it used to be. So Lotus is reinventing itself. It started by taking the might of Elon Musk and Tesla. Remember the new Tesla Roadster? Well, that was revealed in 2017. Everyone got really excited about its 0 to 60 time of 1.9 seconds and the fact it was supposed to do 250 miles an hour. But then came the delays. Anyway, in the meantime, Lotus rolled out its first ever electric car. It's called the Evija and it has 4 motors that make a combined 2,000 horsepower. Lotus says it will do 0 to 60 miles an hour in less than 3 seconds and hit more than 200 miles an hour. But the most impressive thing about it is it will do 0 to 186 miles an hour in less than 9 seconds. That's quicker than a Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport. So the Evija costs more than £2 million. But you know what? Lotus has already sold every Evija it's planning to make. And the first Fittipaldi, I don't know why I said it in that accent. Emerson Fittipaldi, obviously famous racing driver, drove Lotuses, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, those additions will be delivered in early 2023. So Lotus managed to design and engineer its first ever electric car before Tesla actually began to sell a car it had already revealed. Anyhow, Lotus isn't just taking a pop at Elon, it's also working on a brand new car that will face off against the BMW M5 and Mercedes-AMG E63S and of course the Audi RS6. And best of all, it's going to be a lot cheaper than the multi-million-pound Evija. This new model will be an electric saloon codenamed the Type 133. It's one of a whole range of cars Lotus will launch before the company turns 80 years old in 2028. And this exclusive image shows what the new saloon could look like. It's expected to take some inspiration from the Lotus Electra SUV, so it could have similar headlights and angular surfaces. It could have the same active aero flaps as the Electra too. This means that bits of the grille can open and close like hexagonal petals, depending on whether the battery and motors need cooling or not. Yes, the new saloon will be an electric car like the Electra SUV, but it'll definitely look a lot sleeker than that big tall car. It'll probably look like a cross between a traditional saloon and a curvy 4-door coupe. Speaking of which, Lotus has confirmed that the new car will fit within that category of the BMW 5 Series, Mercedes E-Class and all that kind of stuff. But don't go thinking that's going to mean it's just a normal 4-door saloon though. It'll have the performance to outgun the likes of the AMG E63S and Audi RS6 and even maybe the next generation BMW M5. How do I know? Well, this new saloon will be based on the Lotus Electric Premium Architecture platform. This means it'll use lots of parts from the Electra SUV. That's already one of the most powerful and quickest SUVs on sale. The entry-level car makes a mere 612 horsepower from 2 electric motors. That's actually 100 horsepower more than you get from a top specification Audi SQ8 e-tron. And it's only 7 horsepower less than you get in a range-topping BMW iX M60. But Lotus didn't stop there. It also developed an Electra R that has more than 905 horsepower. That's more powerful than almost every other mass-produced SUV on sale, apart from the 1020 horsepower Tesla Model X Plaid. Also, the Lotus has a 2-speed gearbox like in the Porsche Taycan Turbo S to help it accelerate as quickly as possible, yet maintain acceleration at higher speeds. Lotus says it will do 0 to 60 miles an hour in less than 3 seconds. That's just as quick as the £2 million Evija hypercar, which should be enough. But the new Lotus Saloon is set to be even quicker than this. It should be the quickest car Lotus has ever made. Why? Well, it's all down to weight. The Electra is an SUV, which means that it's taller and heavier than a conventional saloon. Sure, both cars will share the same battery, but you need a lot more metal to build an SUV than a saloon. Take the Mercedes EQS SUV for example. The 450 model weighs 2,695 kilos. The standard EQS 450 saloon weighs 2,480 kilos. That's 215 kilograms lighter, which is the equivalent of 3 adult passengers. On one hand, this means that the Lotus Saloon should come with a longer range than the SUV. That car has a 112 kilowatt-hour battery and can manage around 370 miles on a full charge. If the Saloon has the same size battery, it could edge closer to 400 miles on a charge. But you're not really interested in range now, are you? You want to know about the performance. Well, if the new saloon comes with the same dual motors as a standard 612 horsepower Electra, then it'll probably be just as quick as today's E63S and RS6. All these old school vehicles have massive turbocharged V8 engines. They all have more than 600 horsepower and they all do 0 to 60 in around 3 to 3.5 seconds. But what about electric performance cars? If you look at the current range of large saloon performance EVs, they accelerate about as quickly as big cars with similar horsepower. For example, the Mercedes-AMG EQE 53 comes with 687 horsepower, and it also does 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3.3 seconds. It's a similar story with the Audi RS e-tron GT. That car produces a maximum of 646 horsepower from its dual motors, and it does 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3.3 seconds. Although I've actually timed one in 3 seconds dead. But keeping up with the competition isn't enough for Lotus. Because the electric SUV will share its platform with the saloon, Lotus will be able to fit the new car with the same 918 horsepower dual motors as the top specification version of the SUV. And this level of power will probably make the new saloon even quicker than cars like the 761 horsepower Porsche Taycan Turbo S. That'll do 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. But don't go thinking that is the best that Porsche can do. You see, the German brand is also testing a new version of the Taycan that could be even more powerful than the Turbo S. Porsche hasn't actually confirmed anything yet, but these photos show a prototype Taycan being tested on the Nürburgring. And do you notice anything special about it? Well, it has the same brakes as a top specification Turbo S model and a modified front splitter. But the elephant in the room is the absolutely massive rear wing. So this is no ordinary cosmetic spoiler. This looks like the real deal. The standard Taycan Turbo S already holds the lap record for a four-door electric car around the Nürburgring. It completed a lap of the famous circuit in 7 minutes and 33 seconds. But this prototype suggests Porsche is working on a more track-focused Taycan that could go even quicker. It could be early prototypes for a Turbo GT model, a bit like how Porsche made a Turbo GT version of the Cayenne that was all about acceleration and handling. But this isn't the only car Lotus has to worry about. BMW is working on a next generation M5 that will use a version of the 748 horsepower hybrid system you get in the XM SUV. That amount of power should guarantee that the next M5 is even quicker than today's CS model. And that'll do 0 to 60 in less than 2.9 seconds. Audi's getting ready to reveal an Audi A6 e-tron electric car, and it's expected to develop an RS6 e-tron version in the future, which could look something like this. Audi has already confirmed that the A6 e-tron will come with a new platform that's capable of handling just as much power as you get in a Taycan Turbo S. And it also said that cars with this new platform could have even more torque than a top specification Taycan. And that car makes a colossal 1,050 Newton meters. So if this new Audi has the same power but even more torque than a range-topping Taycan, then it could be another car for Lotus to worry about. But that's not all. You thought I'd forgotten about Tesla and Lucid, didn't you? Of course not. These car makers both sell big practical electric saloons with 3 motors and more than 1,000 horsepower. The Model S Plaid has 1,020 horsepower and the Air Sapphire has 1,200 horsepower. Both brands say their cars will do 0 to 60 miles an hour in less than 2 seconds, which is an even more ambitious target for Lotus to aim for. Now all this sounds good, but it's not the best thing about this new Lotus saloon. I'm really excited about how much it'll actually cost. Lotus has already confirmed the entry-level Electra with around 600 horsepower will cost from £89,500, and there's a strong chance the new saloon could be a little bit cheaper. This means it'll cost significantly less than a new BMW M5 competition or Audi RS6. Both of those cars cost from around £110,000. That means that the 918 horsepower R version of the Lotus saloon would be around the similar price of these German alternatives. If they cost about the same as a £120,000 Electra R, then it'll be about £20,000 cheaper than a top specification Porsche Taycan Turbo S. That price also makes them about £80,000 cheaper than a Lucid Air Sapphire. That tri-motor saloon costs around £200,000, which quite frankly is an insane amount. In fact, all of this makes this forthcoming Lotus seem like a performance car bargain. Well, relatively speaking, at least. Now, if you'd like to see my best ever drag race involving some electric cars, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. If you want to watch some more videos, I've picked a couple out for you there I think you'll like. Just click on those windows to watch them. Or if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. You can do that just by hitting the carwow logo there. Simple.